about your role at Allianz?
So yeah, currently working at Allianz. I'm the Psychosocial Risk Lead here, so it's probably the buzzword at the moment in terms of what organisations are looking at the moment. So it's looking at basically the psychological health and safety of all the employees here at Allianz, so making sure they're not getting adversely impacted by the work that they're doing or by any sort of inappropriate behaviours as well. So that's my current role here at Allianz.
Okay, interesting. So what kind of org psych principles do you apply to your job?
So in terms of the org psych principles and that side of things, so it's very much around understanding the human and the human behind what's going on, because it's very much around how work impacts their mental health. Then it's looking at, we're sort of trained in that aspect of the systems and that in terms of the work design and the structures and all that, and how that impacts people's mental health and their work. So you're looking at sort of things like job design, job control, you're looking around the role clarity and stuff. So are there good job descriptions being sort of created as well? Is there good training available to staff as well? And then again, they're looking at that systems lens to make sure that there's systems in place that protect our workers as well. So that's sort of the main principles that I've sort of been using. Obviously got the big theories like the JDR, the Job Demands Resources model, which plays a bit of a job characteristic model, probably another one that plays a bit into this space as well. And so that's sort of from the theory side of things, where it's very much looking at from the people focus and understanding what's impacting them, and then looking at how we can design the work and the systems around them to support people to basically thrive in the workplace.
Yeah, so essentially org psychs do work at individual level as well as systems level. Also.
Exactly right, yeah. So yeah, both lenses, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what's a typical day look like for you at work?
So it's probably not a typical day in the role that I'm currently doing. It sort of varies depending on where we're at. So there's a sort of a framework around looking at psychosocial risk, which is sort of identify, assess, control and review. So depending sort of where you could be in that cycle, the days could be different. For example, your day might be looking at consulting with employees, so running focus groups or one-on-one sessions to understand what's going on for them and what's working and what's not working, and then obviously taking that feedback and looking at different solutions to implement. Could be identifying, looking through the data that you have available, so all your different people and culture, and whether you have cultural surveys or other risk sort of data as well. So maybe sort of looking through that to identify key areas to look at as well. And then another day could be having lots of sort of stakeholder type meetings where you're sharing results and talking through potential recommendations and solutions and how we go about looking after our people as well. So it can be quite varied depending on what is required at the time and what you're sort of looking at as well. But sort of enjoy that, that ability to sort of hypothesize, like the good old scientific method where you're sort of looking at the data and you're looking at things and going, what's going on for our people, and then going and having that important consultation with them to understand what's actually driving or the root cause for the issues that are coming through, or the psychosocial hazards as they're called, and then working with them on how we can improve their work design or what's going for them so that they do feel safe to come to work as well. So quite varied depending on what's going on as well.
Yeah, so even in this niche area of let's say org psych, you have a lot of variety and you do tend to do a lot of different work.
Yeah, and as I'm sort of learning more about the space, it does sort of touch along a lot of the different org psych disciplines as well. So you may be looking at leadership for 1 week to seeing what's the leadership program or the leadership development and how's that impacting the psychosocial risk. Or you may be looking at the talent pipeline, whether it's onboarding or through middle or the end of cycle as well, and then you may then be going into the data analytics or the reporting. So sort of I think you're looking across the breadth of things that org psychs can do in terms of getting the best outcomes for the employees as well.
When did you first know you wanted to work in organisational psychology?
It's probably halfway through when I was doing my first year of the undergrad degree back then. So I sort of realised I probably didn't want to do the clinical psych pathway. I think that's what most people go into psychology for and start studying is they think about clinical because it's probably the most well known. So I sort of realised quite early that I didn't really want to do the day in, day out, one-on-one type clinical psych work. So that's when I sort of started to look at some of the different avenues out there. Sports psych was an interest as well, but the realisation there's a lot of roles in that space as well as there's not a lot of programs left for the master's side of things in Australia, and I was lucky enough where I was at that they had an org psych master's program at the time, and so then I connected with the program director and got a better sense of what you do in the org psych space, and I just obviously like the ability to be able to influence and impact a larger group of people. So, you go into an organisation, whether you're internal or you're a consultant doing it externally, you've got the ability there to go and influence a larger group of people and sort of change the way their work is being done or the impact of work is having on them. And we know how important work is on our mental health. It's probably one of the things that's not talked about a lot when we talk about individual mental health, but how important that work can be and how much of a benefit it can actually have for people's mental health, having that sense of purpose and having that confidence around being able to do something and feeling valued and supported and that sort of thing as well. So that's what will get me in this area and driving me to continue to stay here as well.
Yeah, I mean that's great. And also you mentioned that that you got the sense of doing org psychs pretty early on, like first year. That's very interesting because like with me and with a lot of people I interview, they're like third year or they took an elective. So very interesting that like first year org psychs. Yeah. Do you get to do some work with sports?
The org side of things do, obviously, once you get into the field, you've got the ability to join the other colleges, so to speak. So, through the APS and they all have the colleges for the field. So you interact with the sports college and go to their events, just get a sense of what they're doing and interacting. So that's what I like about it as well, that it's quite a good network that you get to create once you become a psychologist. We all finished as psychologists and then you specialise into your area. So have sort of kept that, fire burning, so to speak, there as well as a possibility sort of in the future as well. But I sort of figure that a lot of the stuff you can do in organisations, it's similar to the work that sports psychs will do, whether you're trying to increase the performance of a team or increase the performance of an organisation. There's obviously different outcomes and different goals, but it's a similar sort of thing as when you're looking at in terms of performance of people in organisations and thriving, etc. So there's a lot of overlap between the two fields as well.
Yeah, and also like you mentioned, definitely like a good supportive community within org psych. Like I'm new, so I've realized like it's small, but not too small. But but we're so supportive in such a positive community. So yeah, and definitely like ways to switch, like you said, and there's just talking and networking. Right. So the next question is, tell us about your journey to the current job.
Yeah. So previously, before I studied psych, I'd worked in my own businesses in the health space and then in the sports space as well. So sort of many years doing that, where I was working with athletes and interviewing them and sharing their stories or training people in terms of the health and fitness side of things. And then sort of through that I sort of realised I was quite interested in human behaviour and what drives us and what motivates us from that lens. How you can have one person who's succeeding at a high level versus someone else not, and they both have the same competing demands, etc. as well. So that then led me to the interest in psychology. So later on in my life, I obviously went and studied that. So went to Griffith University up on the Gold Coast and did the undergrad and honours up there. So studied up there those 4 years and then moved down to do Macquarie University to do the masters, and then from there started into the change management space at Allianz, and now I've recently moved into Psychosocial Risk space here at Allianz. So that's sort of the journey so far.
Okay, so what's the story behind how you landed this job at Allianz then? How did you get into change management at Allianz?
So it was through a placement. So I was doing a placement here as my last placement as part of the master's degree, and just through maybe a bit of luck, but the fact that there was an opportunity there to stay on after it, understanding the skills we bring and the work ethic as well. So that sort of then allowed me to move into that change management space, and then so I initially started in the change analyst space here, and then as a change manager here at Allianz. So started off that as the org psych career and doing a big technology change, moving people off old network drives and then into Teams and SharePoint. So that was a big cultural shift as well as education and training piece, and then from there just through connecting with people in the business, talked around the potential of moving over into this role as well. An opportunity came up, so took that as well. So I very much recommend at your placements, make sure you're sort of checking in and seeing if there's any opportunities there, and when you're sort of finishing up as well, reach out to those networks that you've got as well and have a chat to them, as there's always potential opportunities there as well.
So do you think it happens often?
I'm not sure about how often that would happen, but I know a few of from my cohort anyway, that did sort of transpire, whether it was from the last placement or one they'd done before, where they then reached out at the end of it as well to see if there's any opportunities, but there are
Okay.
that sort of opportunities there for work after placements based on you've already got that connection and network going there already.
So yeah, based on what I've heard you with like what I got to understand is that you need to be a little proactive and network a lot at your placements, and then just ask for opportunities around. That's how you got it.
Yeah, definitely be proactive with networking. It's that placements are that beautiful time where you're in this safe space to trial things and do things. You've got that extra, I guess, little bit of gravitas because you are a placement student to go and network and talk to people, and then most likely give you your time and share their knowledge and experience. So yeah, definitely recommend sort of networking as you can. Obviously talk to your placement supervisor about what's possible and what not, but doing that, and then having those honest conversations with your supervisor if that's somewhere you want to continue with about is there any opportunities after the placement's finished as well. So,
definitely, like I'll probably do that on an external one.
Yes.
Hoping to, but that's an easy path. Like I said, a little bit lucky as well.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, the second last one. So what's something you absolutely love about working in organizational psychology?
I think it's just that the ability to influence the employees' mental health and coming in and enjoying their work and thriving and that sort of stuff. It's sort of that one role where you can really, that's I think what most of us get into it for, is that want to help the human and that person that's doing the work, and so the ability to influence how our organisations do look at the people and do sort of try and make them the centre of focus. Often, organisations can be thinking about the money or the profits rather than the people, and so it's again being able to bring that back and seeing the impacts you can have when you do change work for the better for people as well. You look after their mental health, look after their well-being, you make things easier for them, etc. Even the development side of things and that. So I think that's what's exciting about the field as well. And it's always changing. There's always new roles popping up as well, and new spaces where you can utilise your skills because they are the ability to take them across to different roles as well.
Yeah. And definitely the first thing that you mentioned really stuck out because I think it's our responsibility, rather you're here, to make the job and the workplace make people want to come to work.
That's right.
Rather than saying I don't want to go to work. And I guess we play a big role in creating that sort of environment for employees. So that's really impactful. Okay, the last question. What is your best career advice for current psychology students?
It's probably that networking piece that we were sort of talking about before. So whether it's once you're doing a placement, sort of trying to connect to network, but even before that, or during your masters, do reach out to people. I sort of started reaching out to the Orgside community probably back in that second year once I sort of knew what was going on, just to start to build that network and get to meet different people and learn from them as well and get different ideas and thoughts and experiences as well. So that's what sort of I found most useful is at this stage is that networking, so you can reach out to people, have conversations. You might be considering these certain things. You can have people you can talk to and get their thoughts and experience. I think one of the challenges as you're finishing your master is there's so many different opportunities in terms of the types of work you want to do. Like, do you want to go into leadership? Do you want to go into the newer space like psychosocial risk? Do you want to go into like UX, which is another field, or human factors? So creating that network as early as you can gives you people you can then go and talk to a bit more about what they're doing in their day-to-day roles and what that looks like, and is that an area potentially that you may like to go into as well. So I think just connecting with the community. We've obviously got the College of Org Psychs there as well, which is a good one that you can utilise as well. We often have events you can go to network and meet with the other Org Psychs in your state as well. So there's that opportunity there to help with that networking as well.
Just a bit of follow-up on that, because networking can be a little bit daunting.
Mm-hmm.
So what is one tip that you would give to Org Psychs for networking?
I think just do it. Like for me, it was just sending out multiple little hellos and giving a bit of a background of who you are, and then going from there. There's obviously going to be times when you're not going to hear back from certain people, but I think it's that sort of numbers game where you sort of reach out to the people you're keen to talk to, and as I said, get somewhere where no one responds, but there will still be a certain group of people that respond as well. So just sort of, I think, crafting that message around who you are and what you wanted to have a chat to about and get experiences from, and then go from there. So it's probably just thinking about what you want out of the conversation, offering obviously, if you can. Obviously finances can be tight for some people, but if you're going to say go get a coffee, you can potentially offer a shout as well. Just those that extra little things as well, and sort of being able to, be adaptable to their time schedules as well, so that you can meet as well. But I think now with online and that ability, it's a lot easier to connect via LinkedIn first, but then obviously do a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting where you can connect from anywhere now as well. So
yeah,
the advice is just to go and do it. Write something up first in terms of what you want to ask about and explain who you are and your background, and that you'd like to get a bit more thoughts and knowledge from them and learn from their experiences, and then send them out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I've also done that a little bit. So there are people out there willing to help and take on new students and like just help out. So like I said, it's a good community.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously come into any of the COP events as well, whether the in-person ones and the networking, because you can then interact with people straight away there as well, and get to know a few people that generally introduce you to others. So it's another good way to try and do it as well.